Tasting and ranking 5 refrigerated meat products from Trader Joe's. I've never had any of these before. I've always been really curious about them, and a few of you have asked me to try them in my comments. You know the drill. I'm gonna taste them and rank them 1 through 5. So let's get going because I've got a lot of meat to cook. Starting off strong with some pork belly. I love pork belly. It's really fatty, not for everyone. I was shocked to see that they had it at Trader Joe's, so let's try it. Basically, I crisped the whole thing up in a pan, and then I sliced it, and then I crisped these up. They look really, really crispy. I feel like if you're having pork belly, it needs to be crispy because there's so much fat on it. It needs to be rendered out or else I'm just not into it. It smells like bacon. So let's see what it tastes like. Whoa, there's like a nice rendered fat piece right here. It's super crispy. I have to have another bite. If you like pork belly, I think you would love this. I'm really surprised at the quality of it. I have another bite. It has a little bit of sweetness from the pork. It's salty, but not super salty. Sometimes you get pork belly and it's like crazy salty. This is perfect balance. Not bad at all. Trader Joe's, pretty impressed. This came together in like 8 minutes, which I was very surprised about. I'm actually gonna finish this. Let's try the next one. Next up, we're trying this sous vide chicken. I was really intrigued by this one. Sous vide is when they basically put it in one of those airtight bags and then they cook it in a really low boiling water. Actually, it's not boiling. I'm not quite sure. I'll put it up there. But it's supposed to make incredibly tender meat. I don't think I've ever had sous vide meat before. Really not a lot of ingredients in this, like really just salt and pepper. That really is super tender. Whoa, I'm pretty impressed. I was a little worried about reheating it. Sometimes it gets dry. The meat is cooked through perfectly. It's flavorful in the sense that there's a lot of salt and pepper. I do wish they added like some sort of herb in there, like rosemary or thyme, just to give it a little bit of a different flavor than just plain chicken. But I do feel like you can zhuzh this up and make it really good. And for the price, I feel like it's pretty affordable. This was like 1/5 of what was in that packet, so it was pretty big. I love chicken. It's something that I eat for dinner multiple times a week. Chicken, vegetables, rice, chicken, vegetables, quinoa, just a very common meal that you'll find in my house. So I feel like this is such an easy way to make it. It's already cooked through, so those of you who are like geeked out about if chicken's cooked through, it's already done for you. It's not super fatty, even though it is a chicken thigh. I feel like this could be a great dinner. I have 3 more meats to try, so let's get going. Now for the most expensive item, we have the braised beef roast. I'm here to try it for you and let you know if it's worth it. This was about 1/4 of the portion in the box. Let's do the test and see if it just breaks on its own. It does, which is a good sign. You do not want your beef to have to be cut when it's braised like this. Let's try a bite. Wow, kind of shocked at how good that is. That is so tender. You don't need a knife at all to get nice little pieces of these. The gravy is incredibly savory. It's not over salted. Look at that. It just falls right apart. Look how you have those like shaved layers in there. I love braised beef roast or pot roast, whatever you want to call it, but I don't make it very often because it's kind of a big to-do and has to cook all day. I literally heated this in my microwave. And there's not a ton of fatty pieces in there. There's a few, as you would expect in a beef roast, but most of it is that like lean, beefy meat. I ate a lot of this and I have 2 more meats to try, so let's see what those ones taste like before I finish this. Next up, we have their smoked pulled pork. I did put some barbecue sauce next to it because I feel like you need it with it. But I will say at first glance, this does not look like that. That came off like stringy in nice even layers. This is very like, I don't know, muddled. But let's see what it tastes like. First, we're gonna try it alone. Nice crispy piece. It has that nice pulled pork smoky flavor for sure. I will say that it's actually not salty enough for me. Let's see what it tastes like dipped in barbecue sauce. I mean, yeah, that's delicious. But barbecue sauce is delicious. There's not a lot of fatty pieces in here, which I was kind of nervous about. It's all pretty tender, lean pieces of meat. Nothing's chewy or either. Try another bite. Maybe it doesn't taste exactly homemade. You don't have to cook it. I literally punctured holes in a bag and steamed it in the microwave for like 4 minutes. That's pretty simple. So far, all of the fully cooked meats have been pretty good. There's one more to try, so let's see what that one tastes like. Last up, we're trying the pulled smoked chicken. Like all the others, it's fully cooked. I will say it looks a little dry. I'm worried about it, but let's see what it tastes like. First, we'll try it plain. That is a little dry, unfortunately. Let's see what it tastes like with barbecue sauce. That meat is pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie. The smoky flavor in there with the chicken is really, really good. Not to the point where I won't eat it. Like, I'm still gonna eat all of this because this was like 1/5 of the portion. It is a healthy, lean meat, and I'll just like throw it in salads and things like that. It would just taste so much better if you pulled a rotisserie chicken apart. This piece looks like not an inside piece. I just think this one's a little bit too dry. It's not pulled apart as I would want it pulled apart. I want it to be really, really small pieces. These are really big hunks of meat. The whole point of getting it is so it's convenient and kind of takes away the convenience, right? I had high hopes for this one, but let's go rank these. Starting off at number 5, to no surprise, the pulled chicken. It was just dry, would not recommend this one. Then number 4, I'm gonna put its brother, the pulled pork. I've had such better pulled pork in my life, and yes, this is a really convenient way to have it. Just wouldn't be jumping up and down to go get this one again. Then at number 3, I'm gonna put the sous vide chicken. This was incredibly tender. This tastes like something I would make for dinner all the time. There's no cooking time involved and you don't have to worry about how cooked the meat is. I just like the other two better than this one, but I would definitely get this one again. And at number 2, I'm gonna put the braised beef roast. I went back and forth with number 1 and number 2, but this was super tender. The gravy was just super savory and delicious. I loved this one, so this is my number 2. Then surprisingly at number 1, I have the pork belly. Who knew that making pork belly at home could be so easy? If you're not into fatty foods, you will not like this. This isn't something I'd make all the time, but I just think it was elevated and delicious and I really loved it. My number 1. So this is my Trader Joe's pre-cooked meat ranking. This one was a really fun one to do. I feel like I have enough meat to feed 10 families. I'm curious if you ever tried these. If so, put it in the comments below. Tell me your favorite and come back soon for another video.